You everyone for tuning in this afternoon. Happy Friday. Today we have Jos Willard. He is the founder president of Jos Willard Coaching and Consulting. Before he jumps into the presentation, just want to provide you guys with a quick few facts about Jos. Number one, he has 2 decades of international experience coaching. He's certified in the Profit First method with his company Profit First Professionals. He also served in the U.S. Army, coordinated, sourced, and tracked training activities and logistics, and was also a chaplain's assistant, providing counseling and support for soldiers and family members in need. So I'll pass the floor to you, Jos, and thanks again for being our expert speaker this afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Nelson. It's good to be here. Hey, everybody. I'm Jos, like Nelson mentioned. I've been doing this for a day or two, and with everything going on, one of the things that I'm running into a lot are people saying, how do I start getting clients? Nobody's got money. Everyone's locked in at home. I need to get online. I need to do all of these things. I need to change how I market and all that stuff. And frankly, a little bit yes and a little bit no. So today we're going to go into some things that you can do to get yourself booked solid with your ideal clients that are going to pay you the money that you need and that your services or products are worth, and consistently and profitably. So let us get started with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and spin up my presentation here. Slideshow. Come on, Cletus. From the beginning. Technology is great when it works, right? Okay, so this is me. How does this sound? Less stress, more free time, more profit, more what you love, less of what you don't. We can do all of that, and we can get a lot of that done in less than 90 days. There's my pitch. That's me. Go check me out at joswillard.com. Let's get into adding some value. So one of the things that I am certified in, and I'm actually the only certified Book Yourself Solid coach in Canada, is the Book Yourself Solid system. It's based on a book by Michael Port. We're going to go through some of the fundamentals here today. And it is the fastest, easiest, most reliable way for getting more clients than you can handle, even if you hate marketing and selling. The Book Yourself Solid system is based on both philosophical and practical principles. There are 2 philosophical principles. There's 1 practical principle. The philosophical principles are pretty simple. Number 1, that there are some people that you are meant to serve and others, not so much. One of the things that we do, the mistakes that we make on a regular basis is we try to work with anybody or everybody that we think we can help. And the fact is, we can help a lot of people. We shouldn't help everybody, because when you are giving time to the people you shouldn't be helping, it takes time and energy away from the clients you should be working with, the people that you're meant to serve. And when you do that, not only do you lose time, money, and energy to the clients that suck, but the clients that you should be serving get a lesser version of you because of it. And you wind up losing those clients because they're not getting everything they should be getting from you. So that's philosophical principle number 1. Philosophical principle, wow, I speak English good. Philosophical principle number 2 is that Book Yourself Solid is a love story disguised as a business system. What does that mean? We're getting very woo here right off the hop. It's about you being in love with the clients that you're meant to serve. It's about your clients falling in love with you and your business. And it's about you falling in love with marketing and selling just a little bit, even if you currently hate marketing and selling. What does that mean, love? I sell widgets. People don't need to love me. Well, yes and no. We'll get into that in a little bit. So for those of you who don't like the woo side, let's talk about the practical principle. And this practical principle is something that most marketing people and most business coaches will not tell you. And that is, marketing doesn't get you clients. Well, wait, what? It doesn't. Marketing by itself does not get you clients. What marketing does is it simply creates awareness of who you are and what you have to offer. Once that awareness has been created, it's what you do from then until they buy that gets you the clients. And that's what we're going to talk about a little bit today. We do need to do marketing. This is not a presentation about bashing on marketing. We need to create awareness about what we have to offer, because if we don't, people will never find out who we are, and it's very rare that you'll get people to buy from you if they don't know that you exist, right? But marketing is really about being relevant. If you're relevant to people, they're going to pay attention. So overall, the Book Yourself Solid system, which we're not going to cover all of, although I'm going to give you a brief overview today, it teaches you the strategies and the techniques to create the awareness, and also what to do from the moment that that awareness is created. So How the system works. Marketing creates awareness about what you have to offer. Potential clients will come and check out your foundation and say, hey, can this person help me get what I want? If the answer is yes, if they feel secure on your foundation, then they're going to give you the opportunity to earn their trust. And you can start to make sales offers that are proportionate to the amount of trust that you have earned. Because here's the thing, people won't buy from you if they don't trust you. Period, paragraph, end of story. Now, you might say, well, there doesn't need to be a lot of trust to buy my widget, or there doesn't necessarily need to be a lot of trust for me to help them with branding or something like that. And the amount of trust people need to buy from you varies. That's why you make sales offers that are proportionate to the amount of trust that you've earned. The amount of time it takes for that trust to build can be that fast, or it can take years. And we'll get into that a little bit. You don't know what it's going to be. But the point is, they've got to know that you can solve their problem. They've got to feel like they trust you, and then they will buy what it is that you're selling if they need it. And if you know how to price yourself perfectly, and if you know how to have a super simple sales conversation, you're going to book that business. You're going to do it again and again and again. And this is why Profit First is Book Yourself Solid. I do a lot of Profit First stuff too. Book Yourself Solid is a systematic approach to getting more clients. All right. So what does that mean? This right here is the Book Yourself Solid system in a nutshell. I'm going to cover it all super fast. So we start up here. This is marketing. These are the self-promotion strategies. These are what gets people's attention, create awareness. And that causes them to come down here and check out your foundation. Do they make it through your red velvet rope policy? Are you the kind of person that they want to work with? Do you understand why people are going to buy from you? Does your personal brand work with them? Do you know how to talk about what you do without sounding boring, bland, or like everybody else? If that person comes in, jumps up and down on your foundation, feels comfortable on that foundation, then they'll give you the chance to earn trust and credibility with them. They're going to find out, are you credible? Are you likable? Does your sales cycle work? Does it have multiple points where somebody can enter into your cycle and buy what you have to offer? Do you know how to keep in touch with people on a regular, consistent, systematic basis? And do we have info products that will help to build your brand? By the way, info products can be as simple as a takeout menu at a Chinese restaurant. It's anything that you have that allows you to work with your existing clients while helping other people, prospects, learn more about you. So when they've bounced around in here to the point, and this might, like I said, this might take 5 seconds or it might take 5 years. Once they feel comfortable with you and they trust you and they need what you have, they raise their hands. If you are priced perfectly and you know how to have that super simple sales conversation, you're going to book the business. There you go. That is the Book Yourself Solid system in a nutshell. We're done with the presentation. Have a great day, everybody. No, kidding. So a little bit more about the system. It's got 4 modules. The way it's built, module 1 is your foundation, right? It is the 4 things that make your platform launch. Second module is building trust and credibility. Third module is perfect pricing and simple selling. The 4th module is what we call the 6 core self-promotion strategies. I'm going to touch on each of these very briefly today. You'll notice that I started up here with my drawing, but that in fact, this is module 4. It's the last things that we teach. And why is it that we teach that way? Because if you do all of this, you get all of the attention, you get all of the awareness created, and people come down here and there's no foundation, they fall through the floor. It's pointless. You'll lose them. We don't want to do that. I'm here today to teach you the things that you need to do to get yourself booked solid. So let's go through that very quickly. Module 1, the red velvet rope policy, is just a filter. How to get the ideal clients who inspire and energize you, knowing why people buy what you sell. Because here's a tip. If you don't know why people should buy from you, don't be surprised if they don't know why they should buy from you. Developing a personal brand. Even if you are a salesperson who works for another company, you don't have any control over that brand, you do still have the ability to determine how you show up in the world. Number 4, talking about what you do. How to talk about what you do without sounding confusing, bland, boring, irrelevant, or like everybody else is important, because this foundation, module 1, this is how people decide that they're there, or that you're there to work with them. Also, if you set this up correctly, you will repel the people that you're not supposed to be working with. And that's a thing that we want to do. We don't want to repel them necessarily in a screw you way or a way that makes them feel bad. We just want to make it very clear so that they can see up front that we're not the person who's there to serve them. And we do that because it saves them time and it saves us time. Okay. So that takes us to module 2. Once you have that foundation, the ways that you build credibility and trust with people, do you have the basic foundational trust building devices? Do you have a website? Can people find you? Do you have business cards? Do your headshots look like they were taken at somebody else's wedding when you were just like 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 bottles of booze in? You know, those types of things. It's just a little blurry, but it looks good. Do you have those standard credibility builders? Do you have a sales cycle? We believe in sales cycles, not sales funnels. We can get into the difference of that if you ever decide that you want to know more about how this all works. Do you have a strategy for keeping in touch, an automated strategy in a way that builds trust and credibility? Again, we have a whole workshop on how to do that. And do you know how to build information products in a way that is simple, in a way that is efficient, in a way that in a couple hours you can knock out a product, whether that is a one-page menu that somebody can take away, or whether it is a multiple video course or even a book. We have a simple system that we use to make those things happen, because you have people out there who say you need to be producing content all the time. That's not what we're talking about with info products. We're talking about how to build something very quickly to fill your needs, meet the needs of your prospects and clients, to build trust and credibility, and not take a bunch of time and not have to be this constant factory, constantly posting on social media, blogging, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, module 3, this is simple. Once your first 2 modules have been put in place, you have the 4 cornerstones of your foundation that come from module 1, the 4 walls of your house that come from module 2, then you have the 2 parts of your roof that are module 3. Your perfect pricing. There are 12 different pricing models, figuring out how you provide value, what that value is worth, and how to price it in a way that works for both you and your client, because the secret to perfect pricing is to make sure that both people feel like they are getting the better end of the deal. When you know how to do that, then you have a simple selling conversation. I'm going to talk a little bit about that super simple sales conversation. We have, again, 4 steps in it. And the reason I'm talking about this is because everything else that you do is designed to get you to the point where you're invited into having a sales conversation. And the way we do sales conversations is they're not salesy. We don't want you to be feeling like you're wearing that really nasty, big, sleazy salesperson pitch of the day mustache here on number 4. Sorry, I was pointing with my pointer and not my, right? We don't want you to be that person. We just want you to follow the paradigm of sales and understand that we get to this 4-part formula, which is very simple. And here's the way that it works. Understand that you're creating awareness of what you offer. That's going to give you that opportunity to earn trust. People are going to jump into your sales cycle at the point that they feel most comfortable. And notice we use a sales cycle, not a sales funnel. And the reason for that is because a funnel looks like this. Everybody comes in the top. They all go through the same process and the few come out at the bottom. We don't believe that, because if somebody wants to throw $10,000 at you, you really shouldn't make them buy your $4.99 ebook first, right? Let them buy where they feel comfortable buying. Super simple sales conversation. Here's the trick to the super simple sales conversation. You're not there to sell. You're there to actually have a conversation with another human being. And you ask 4 key questions. What would you like? What are you trying to accomplish? What is your goal, right? What's the path you're trying to take? What's your goal? What will it look like when you get there? How will you know that you've gotten that goal accomplished? Number 3, would you like someone to help you with that? If they say no, they don't want anybody to help them with that, then that's fine. You don't need to make an offer at that point, because they don't need your help. They don't want your help, right? Number 4, if they want help, the question is, would you like that person to be me? That's it. It's a simple conversation, okay? So what I'm going to show you before we wrap this up today is how to get to this conversation. And if you know this conversation, I just taught you the basics of it. And I have a workshop that I can do that goes deep into how to have these conversations, deal with objections, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But today, the basics that you need to know are this. What do you want to accomplish? What will that mean for you? How will you know that you're there? Do you want someone to help you with that? Would you like that person to be me? Okay, cool. So then we get to module 4, which is the 6 core self-promotion strategies. Now, 3 of these self-promotion strategies are required in the way that we use Book Yourself Solid. 3 of them are optional. The 3 that are required, The networking strategy, which by the way, has nothing to do with going to networking meetings. The direct outreach strategy, which has nothing to do with cold calling, but if people were to follow direct outreach principles, they would make their cold calling much more effective and less painful. And number 3, the referral strategy, which has very little to do with asking your clients for referrals. Okay? Those are the mandatory strategies, which means your optional strategies are the speaking strategy, the writing strategy, and the web strategy. Wait, did I just say that the web strategy was optional? I did. You need to have a web presence because, like it or not, these days you're going to get Googled. And if everybody's locked in their houses for the next 6 months, they do most of their shopping online. So they need to be able to find you online. But a whole web strategy is a whole nother thing. And if you want to know more about why these are optional and how these just sort of supercharge our fundamentals, then reach out. I'm happy to talk to you about it. So here is a checklist. Feel free to take a screenshot, come back, watch the video, pause it, write it all down. These will tell you if you can check off all of these things, then you have the basic format of how to get people into a super simple sales conversation. If you'd like to know how each step works, again, you can talk to me. So for now, I'm jumping to the thank you. Don't need to be there. I'm going to stop the share for a moment. Actually, I'll do this real quick. So that's the end of that part of the presentation. I'm still going to give you some steps to follow. That's the next 10 minutes, okay? But really quickly, if you want to know more about me, you can go to Jos Willard Coaching, joswillard.com. If you want to know more specifically about the course that I have put together for coaches, you can go to profitforcoaches.com. And if you want to email me, which you will want to do in order to get some of the free things that I'm going to offer, Jos@joswillard.com. Okay, super simple. Now, that is the end of that part of the presentation. This is the part where you need to take notes. So I'm going to give you the 5 things that you need to do. They should take you about 15 minutes a day, each work day. So call it 5 days a week, call that 20 weeks a month. If you do this for the next 2 months consistently, if you do these 5 things, you will get more business. And if you don't, my guarantee is that I will refund you every penny that you paid to be on this call today. Okay? Actually, if you don't have more clients by doing this over the next 60 days, email me, Jos@joswillard.com, and I will work with you to find out why and get you there. Okay? No charge. So here are the 5 things. Well, first, there are 2 things to do first before we do the 5 things. We're going to talk about the networking strategy and the direct outreach strategy. These 5 things cover those 2 mandatory self-promotion strategies, okay? So the first thing you need to do is to come up with a list of 90 people, 90 to 100 people. And if you don't have 90 to 100, that's okay. Start with however many you do have. But come up with that list, try and get it to 90 or 100 of people that could benefit your business. Strategic partners, people who can introduce you to somebody. I'm not talking about prospects, okay? Maybe some of them could be prospects, but I'm talking about potential referral partners, people that can move your business forward, people that you have a relationship with already. Even if that relationship is just that you exchanged business cards at a networking event, okay? But they know who you are. Put them on this list. And I want you can do this with a spreadsheet. And in fact, I have what we call our Ghetto CRM, super simple CRM that you can use. It is just an Excel spreadsheet. It works like this. Put down their names, put down the last date that you contacted them, and then order them in reverse order so that the person that you contacted most recently is at the bottom, okay? That is your list of 90 to 100. Then I want you to create a second list, a list of 20, okay? This is a list of people who could significantly positively impact your business that you don't have a relationship yet, but that you would like to. And if you want to talk like Oprah, you want to talk like, I've just forgotten the guy who does Virgin Air. Any of those, if you want to go for big people, great. But if you want to go for big people that are local, that's also fine too. If your target market is real estate professionals, perhaps the president of RECA is somebody that you want to put on that list, that type of thing, okay? So you have your list and do it the same way. Their names, the last time you contacted them, that should be blank because you've never talked to them. But you have now a list of 90 or up to 90, 100 and a list of 20. Okay, So you have those two lists. Here are the 5 things to do every day with those lists. Thing number 1, say something nice. I want you to go to your list of 100 or list of 90, take the top 3 people, which will be the 3 people that you have not talked to in the longest period of time. And I just want you to send them an email, send them a postcard, reach out to them on social media with a direct message, make a phone call, send them a text. Something very brief that just says, hey, I was thinking about you. Something nice. Or, hey, how was your daughter's recital? Just something to say, you know what? I was thinking about you. You're important to me. Do not put in there something like, hey, can we get together? Can we have coffee? No invites, no calls to action. Just, hey, you're important. I was thinking about you. It's called sharing your compassion. Take those 3 because you have talked to them, you move them to the bottom of the list. Okay, done. That's thing number 1, say something nice. Thing number 2, share something worth reading. Throughout the course of your day, you're going to see things, whether it's online, books that you read, podcasts that you listen to. You're going to find things that relate to or would be of interest to people on your list of 90. It just happens if you're paying attention to those people. Now, you can create a box or a what do you call those things? An Evernote list or something like that if you want to, but you really don't have to. You just need to pay attention. You don't need to go spend hours and hours building up this stockpile of things. But when you find something that you think would be of interest to people on your network, share it with them. So pick 2 people anywhere on your list of 90, preferably in the top half, people that you haven't talked to in a while, but someone on there, 2 of them, and send them this thing. Maybe you're actually sending them the book in the mail, if it's a book that you found. Maybe you're sending them a link. Maybe you're sending them a social media direct message. But in some way, sometimes it's email, in some way reach out to them and said, hey, saw this thing, thought of you, thought you would find it valuable, right? Or just thought of you, whatever. Again, not a call to action, not saying, hey, can we get together? Just, hey, saw this, thought of you. Send it. Move those people to the bottom of your list. That's 2 people. So that's 5. Okay. If you have a list of 90 to 100 people and you are touching 5 of them a day times 20 days, in that 20-day period, you're going to touch each of those 100. If you don't touch them any other way, you're going to touch each of those 100 at least once over those 20 working days. 5 times 20 is 100, right? Boom. By doing this, you make sure that these people in your life stay connected with you at least once a month in a way in which you're not demanding anything from them. In fact, all you're doing is providing value so that when you do reach out and ask for things, they're more likely to be willing to give them to you. And when they need what you do, you've been top of mind. Thing number 3, make an introduction. Pick somebody on your list of 90 to 100 and introduce them to somebody else that would be of value to them. I'm not talking about necessarily a CIBN referral or a BNI referral or a business. It doesn't have to be a business thing. It can be if it makes sense, but it can be something as simple as, hey, I know that John on my list wants to climb Mount Kilimanjaro next year. And I happen to know that Sally on my list climbed Mount Kilimanjaro 2 years ago. I will do a double opt-in. Usually I'll ask, make sure I get permission, but then I will introduce the 2 of them and say, you know, John, Sally, one wants to climb, one has climbed. I thought you guys would be, it'd be a value for you to talk to each other, and then step out. Like, no need to CC me in future emails. Don't suggest that they catch a cup of coffee. Nobody likes being told that they have to meet with somebody they've never met before. Just introduce them. If they don't like each other, that's not your fault. It's not your problem, right? Especially if you're not setting up to say, hey, you should buy from this person or something like that. You're not necessarily doing a business introduction, although you can. But you're trying to do an introduction that's win-win for both sides. If one or both of those people are on your list, again, move them to the bottom of the list, right? And you do that because you're adding value, you're sharing your network. The 3 things that you want to share is share your compassion, say something nice, share your knowledge, hey, saw this, thought of you, and share your network, okay? So, and by doing that, you've put yourself at the center of a hub and spoke that's all connected, and if everybody that you know in your network winds up knowing each other eventually, that makes you very influential and very powerful within there. Okay, so those are 3 things. We still got 2 things left. Thing number 4, the thing that your mother always told you not to do, talk to a stranger. Go to your list of 20, find the person on the top, do some research, and do something that day to get introduced to them. If that means sending an email, that's great. If that means making a phone call because you've done that digging, that's fine too. Probably the most effective thing you can do is go into your network and say, hey, does anyone specifically in my network have a connection to this person? If so, I would love an introduction. Please help, right? Boom. Move that person to the bottom. They might never respond to you. But if you, again, you have 20 people, you do one a day over the course of 20 days, over the course of the month, you're going to reach out to each of them one time or move one step closer to connecting with them one time. Do that over several months. You're going to add them. Suddenly they're going to respond. Now you have a relationship with them. You move them to your list of 100. Okay. So those are the 4 things. Those 4 things cover the basics of the networking strategy and the direct outreach strategy. They're simple. There's a lot more that you can do to expand on them. Happy to tell you about that if you'd like. But those are the basics. So those 4 things. The 5th thing, the thing that you need to do every day to get more clients or to get booked solid is make a sales offer every day. Every day, give somebody the chance to buy what you're selling. When I work with clients who aren't bringing in enough revenue, and I sit down to train their sales team, or even if they don't have a sales team, if that person themselves is the sales team, and we say, why aren't you bringing enough money? I'll ask the question, how many sales conversations have you had in the last month? Oftentimes the answer is, I don't know, or very few. You can't sell anything if you don't give people the opportunity to buy from you. Now, it doesn't need to be a mailing out to your, a mass email out to your list to say, hey, here's a special 30% off. It just needs to be, although you can do that, it just needs to be, hey, you know what, Shauna, you and I have been talking over the last few weeks and you've been telling me about the problem that you're having. You're just not bringing in enough clients. How many clients would you like to bring in? What would that look like if you were bringing in 20 clients, 20 new clients a month? Would you like someone to help you with that? You and I have talked a lot about it. I think you're a good fit for what I do. Would you like me to be the person that helps you with that? And if Shauna says yes, that's awesome. And if Shauna says no, that's cool too. I gave Shauna the opportunity to buy from me. We don't push it on people. We're not going to be that pushy salesperson. Hey, buy from me, buy from me. Hey, you really need to buy from me. You just look for that opportunity to say, hey, would you like my help with that? And that's all it takes. So if you do those 5 things every day, it should take you about 15, 20 minutes a day. And you'll notice none of that was massive posting on social media. None of that was blogging, creating videos, going live in a Facebook group. You can use your email account, some direct messages if you want to, or your telephone. That's all it takes. If you do those 5 things every day, 5 days a week, for the next 2 months, you will have more clients. Almost guaranteed. Actually, for today, it's guaranteed because I'll give you your money back if you don't shop. If you don't get those clients, again, please reach out to me, jos@joswillard.com, and I'll be happy to help you free of charge. Thanks. That's me, Nelson.
Thank you so much, Jos. Yeah, no, I definitely learned a lot. It seems like, I mean, I don't know if this is the correct term, but the sales process sounds very much like a relationship building, relationship selling per se. And yeah, the takeaway for me is, just the points I highlighted, the 5 points: compassion, knowledge, share your contacts, talk to strangers, and then last, ask for the sale. Or because I do agree with you, oftentimes entrepreneurs or salespeople, we don't ask for the sale. And so I do believe, those 5 key points are hugely beneficial. Now, one question I had was, with the different modules, I guess pending on where you're at in the business cycle, whether you're a startup, growth, or mature business, let's say you're, I don't know, a growth business, like, would you still have, I assume you'd still have to go through all the different modules, like, but not as long, I guess. What I'm asking is, what's the, like, if someone was interested, what's the length of time that you would have to work with them,
Gotcha. Okay, so and the answer is, as always, that depends. So The nice thing about the Book Yourself Solid system, the way it's put together, is a modular system. So the first thing I do when I sit down with a client is we will go through an assessment as to where are they challenged, where on the business hierarchy of needs do they need to be focusing their attention. What a lot of business coaches will do is say, here's my process. You have to go, there's 12 modules. If the fire in your business is in module number 9, you do not have time to wait for modules 1 through 8 to get there, right? So we'll pull out what we need to do. I tend to work with clients in 2 different ways. Either a small group program. I launch one of those usually about every quarter. They go up to 90 days, working once or twice a week.
Right.
Or I will do one-to-one coaching with the client. When I do one-to-one coaching with the client, what I do is action-based coaching. So what we'll do is we'll sit down and say, what do you need? Once we know exactly what they need, we'll say, okay, here are the tools in the toolbox. This is the order that we're going to do them in. If they're starting from scratch, we're going to go through the Book Yourself Solid system. Yes, we can go through from beginning to end. We can do it in as little as 4 weeks. Actually, to be honest, I have done intensive work with people where I'll sit down with them for 2 days, and it's 2 whole days.
Oh, wow.
8 hours, and we will pound through it. And by the time we're done, it's basically a business in a box. We'll have Book Yourself Solid installed. We'll have Profit First installed. We'll have a few other tools that I have in my toolbox installed. And basically we resystematize the whole business. I do that a lot with service-based professionals. It's not cheap because it's 2 days, but you're done, right? So it can expand or contract as necessary. I will do half-day workshops and seminars sometimes where we'll go through one section of Book Yourself Solid or Profit First, or we'll sit down and work on exactly which part of it you need to work on. The challenge is most people come to me and say, I just need help figuring out my website. I need to work on my web strategy. Let's do that. Okay, well, we'll do the assessment and go, well, here's the problem. It's not that your website sucks, or it's not that your web strategy isn't working. It's that you don't have a foundation in place. You don't know what to do with the client when they show up and say, all right, you've got my attention. Now what? And both of you are just kind of stuck there going, I don't know. Right? And that's never good for business.
That makes sense. And do you have any upcoming workshops where you teach the different modules upcoming?
I will be doing, actually, I'm launching a new small group for the Book Yourself Solid system. We're going to do the whole system in 8 weeks.
Yep.
It is, what is today? So we're in July. So that launches the first week of August.
Oh, okay. Excellent. And what's the price on that?
That's $1,500.
Yeah.
And yes, you can do that on Exmerce.
Okay. Excellent. No, that sounds great. I'm sure a lot of businesses can certainly benefit from your offering. Anyone tuning in, does anyone else have questions? No?
Silence.
Okay, so if you are interested in contacting Jos, I will be sharing his contacts with everyone when I post this video through the Exmerce Club page on Facebook. I'm sure you can also contact me direct to get Jos's contact as well. So I don't have any other questions. And any last words that you want to share, Jos?
Yeah, just a couple of things. If somebody does want to email me, again, jos@joswillard.com, or Nelson will put this on the recording. If you would like a copy of what we call the Ghetto CRM for your list of 90 or your list of 20, or if you'd like a copy of that checklist of the things that you need to have in place so that your marketing system is automatic and bringing you in those ideal clients, email me. I'm happy to give those to you, no charge. Happy to just share.
Perfect. Okay, well, thanks again, Jos. We really appreciate you being our speaker today. I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and look forward to catching up with all of you soon again.
Thanks.
Okay, thanks, guys.